Something a little different today. We are going to be reacting to one of the most important things you are ever going to read in and around the crypto space. Now, this post isn't just inspirational, it is also applicable to 99% of the retail investors in crypto. In my opinion, it is the blueprint of how to actually make money in this industry. The problem is most people just don't want to hear it. Most want to get rich quick. They want to get rich yesterday, which just isn't the realistic expectation. However, if you do decide to watch this video, you are going to finish it and have a much clearer mind on what you need to do next. And if you do enjoy it, if it is helpful, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. So this post over on X was made from Cobie. Now, if you are not aware of who Cobie is, he is one of the most, if not the most respected OGs on crypto Twitter or crypto X, whatever you want to call it. He's been in the crypto space since 2013, so a true OG, and many people believe he's one of, if not again, the richest retail investors that we have ever seen in crypto. And there is always a lot of speculation about how much Cobie is truly worth. People speculate that he could be a billionaire at this point, and in this post he set the record straight. But this post isn't just about Cobie's net worth. There is a lot that we can take from it to apply to our own investing moving forward. Alright, so this all came from a post here. So somebody speculated that Cobie is a billionaire. He replied himself saying nope. The next reply was to stop the cap, and then he went on to explain his situation in a lot more detail, which I do believe there are a lot of things that we can learn from this as well. So let's just run through it line by line. So when people claim this, I always wonder how they think it happens or have unrealistic expectations on how much 1 billion actually is. Now, just to put this into perspective, and I think I've seen this on a Joe Rogan podcast, 1 million seconds is roughly around 11 days. 1 billion seconds is around 31 years. Not days, not months, years. So that really just paints the picture on how being a millionaire is very, very different to being a billionaire. He joined crypto with $200, and if he held his initial Bitcoin since then and never traded, he would have around 300k. When you put that into perspective, it is an incredible return, but obviously 300k is nowhere near the numbers that people speculate when it comes to Cobie's net worth. If instead from that moment I sold the top and bought the bottom of every crypto cycle on Bitcoin and never paid any taxes, he would have 6 million USD. So a lot more than 300k, but still nowhere near the billionaire status that people speculate with. He's also very well known for getting into the Ethereum ICO. So if he would have put his entire net worth at that time into the Ethereum ICO and never touched it, that today would be around $150 million pre-tax. So you can see what he's getting at here in terms of these numbers. If he played things perfectly, these numbers are huge numbers, they are growing, but they are still not quite the billionaire status that many people are assuming. So while it was definitely possible to have made 1 billion with the opportunities in the market, these versions of reality would also require me to make no mistakes and have no need to spend dollar in real life or take excess risk via leverage. Now, I think that's the first big lesson from this. This is kind of moving away from Cobie's situation and now talking about what people can learn from this. One thing that we have to understand as crypto investors is there is absolutely no point looking at things in hindsight. Could have done this, could have done that. You are never going to play things absolutely perfectly without making any mistakes. It's just not realistic whatsoever. You are going to make mistakes, you are going to lose money, you are going to get rug pulled. That is just part of the game if you are taking more risk than just kind of investing in Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, whatever else when it comes to the blue chips. In reality, he grew up in a working class family, didn't have a trust fund and had to pay off his student loan himself, had a job at Tesco's whilst at high school. After university, I needed to pay rent and fund cost of living and eventually buy a place to live. Kind of just, in my opinion, averting to taking money out of the crypto market when he needed to as well. He worked at startups for relatively little salary, and while a couple have done okay, they still are illiquid and worth nothing until some exit. So he's pretty well known for having a job at Monzo in the early days, and Monzo obviously went on to be a lot bigger in the UK fintech space. So, you know, that was definitely good for his reputation coming into the crypto space, working in such a respected and big unicorn, I guess, in that space. Perhaps if I erase a couple of dumb mistakes and drawdowns, or if I had a little more grind, then my answer would be different today. But it is easy to say this with perfect hindsight vision, which we just kind of touched on. It's easy to see where you could have optimized better and decisions you made look dumb when the past makes things so obvious. Let's just read the next paragraph before we touch on that, because I think this is one of the biggest lessons that we can learn from this. So the truth is, I have always optimized for enjoying my life and not going to zero. I've never felt like I had a safety net, so it was never possible for me to do anything in any other way. I would probably have less money if I tried to add more risk or chase dollar harder, because being all in with your entire livelihood is a mental battle, and I feel I only win that battle when the stakes are lower. So much to unpack here, and it's something that I can really relate to as well. So when it comes to being all in, you'll see people on the timeline talk about no sleep season. You know, you've got to grind 24 hours at the screen, no sleep. It's not healthy. It doesn't work. Trust me, I've been there myself. I tried it back in the last cycle because everybody was saying that you have to do that to make money. You know, you have to be online, you have to catch every trade. It doesn't work that way. Believe me, you end up making terrible decisions because you are so tired, you are not thinking straight, and you know, I think it's a bit of a meme, to be completely honest. And it was reassuring for me as well to hear Cobie kind of say the same things in so many words, because you know, if you just kind of invest relatively passively, you know, you go away, you know what you want to buy, you dollar cost average, you hold your bags, and you go away and just touch grass. I have family members who are not deep into crypto whatsoever, but they have exposure. They just check price from time to time. They don't stress. They're not losing any hair over crypto. And I feel like a lot of people could learn from that. They can do things better rather than feeling like they have to lock in and they have to, you know, go all in on these meme coins to make it in one trade. It's just not realistic. It's just not the way crypto works for 99% of people. Now, of course, some people are going to get that little bit of luck that you need in crypto and it's going to work out, but it definitely isn't the norm. And Cobie here touches on it being when the stakes are lower. And that's basically just saying, you know, if you have an amount of money in crypto that you don't really care about, that you can truly afford to lose, then yeah, you're going to gamble with it more. But as your net worth climbs, you are a lot more cautious with that. And if you're not, you do risk losing a lot of money. In writing this, maybe I do understand why CT folks believe this, because modern CT sees crypto as a late stage lottery ticket farm where the optimal strategy is to 5x leverage up your portfolio in a hope of catching a good 20% move and then leaving, or literally going all in on the next coin that they heard Amsam is buying. So perhaps for them, looking back at the charts, of course, that's what successful folks did. It kind of touches on, again, what we've just said. One thing we have to understand right now is you are no longer early to crypto. If you are joining crypto now, you are not early. You're also not late, but it doesn't mean you can just go and buy one random meme coin, hit 100x, hit the home run, and then leave forever. Number one, because it's very unlikely. Number two, because if you do hit that home run, it's very likely that you're not going to leave. You're going to catch the bug, you're going to think you can do it again, you're going to put more on the line, and you know, a lot of people are unfortunately going to give back all of them gains. In reality, I use leverage close to never and typically to reduce risk rather than to add risk, which I bet many people just don't quite grasp. He's used it to add risk maybe 3 times in the last 5 years, maybe 15 times ever, and he never goes all in on anything. I've only ever done that on Bitcoin and Ethereum before in the last decade. When I buy other things, I limit my risk to tiny amounts because I treat it as zero until proven otherwise, so always under 1% of the liquid portfolio. The liquid portfolio is also a smaller percentage of overall portfolio to future-proof against my own fuck-ups. This is something that, again, we can take things from, but it's definitely very different in Cobie's situation with his net worth. You know, somebody with a $1,000 portfolio, a $5,000 portfolio is going to increase them percentages to take more risk, because, you know, if you've got $1,000 under 1%, you know, you're not going to really want to put $10 into something. It's not going to feel worth it, to be completely honest. That may be the right or wrong way of looking at it, but in my opinion, you're just not going to take that position seriously. So yeah, maybe then percentages do increase for other people with smaller portfolios, but I think the key takeaway here is to never go all in on one thing. You know, if you see one meme coin and you really believe it's going to 100x and it doesn't, and your whole portfolio goes into that, then what? You know, you're starting again from zero. And it's kind of crazy because I have seen some friends in the space who have been around since 2017. They have made a lot of money and they've pretty much give it all back, and we're talking 7 7, 8 figures, giving it all back to the market just because of silly mistakes a lot of the time, because they are chasing for more and more, because they are trying to play the way they did in previous cycles. We all know this cycle has not been the same as others in the past. So you have to realize that by not going all in, only taking small risks relative to percentage in your portfolio amount is definitely the way to maybe not thrive like other people you see kind of showing off on the timeline, but survival is so important. And if you have a large amount of your portfolio in the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, these kinds of blue chips that don't feel like the 100x gems, but they offer that safety net of probably never going to zero, we can never say never, but a good chance of not going to zero, and ensuring that you always stay in the game. And he finishes by saying, obviously I made a lot of money. I have been here for 12 years. CT doesn't want to hear about getting rich in a decade though. I'm happy with where I am and have never really cared or optimized for maximizing dollar earnings, but instead having a nice life that lets me enjoy the game we are playing together. It pretty much just sums up perfectly what this whole video and the reaction and the review of it, I guess, is all about. You do not need to be all in on a meme coin, no sleep season to really make money in this space. You just have to have enough patience. And I think a great example of this is if you look at Bitcoin from bottom to top this cycle, say you go all in on Bitcoin at 15k and you ride it up to 125k, those returns are pretty damn good, right? You know, you're looking at 8x, 8.5x, whatever it is. I haven't ran the math, but I guess if people look at the portfolio now with the altcoins they bought, with the gambles they've took on meme coins, they've probably not seen an 8x of their overall portfolio, myself included. You know, I've made some good moves, but I've also made some bad moves. I've not took profit. I have learned a lot this cycle, and the people who take the lessons and they actually change how they act and invest moving forward are the ones who will ultimately succeed. But it is funny to wrap this one up because we talk about at the beginning Cobie's net worth, not really relevant to this video, but we see this post just a couple of hours before starting the recording. Coinbase acquires crypto investing platform Echo, which is Cobie's platform, for $375 million. So, I mean, there's a lot to say about that in terms of congratulations to Cobie on this achievement. He's done something incredible, and he's also kind of shown other people that if you put your head down and build in the space and build a product that people use and need, then that is the true way to life-changing money rather than just gambling on meme coins for years and years. And did the $375 million buyout just take him over the $1 billion net worth? I mean, I'm sure many people are going to speculate on CT about that. Maybe Cobie will clarify that as well at some point. But yeah, just kind of ironic that he posted that a couple of days ago, and then here we are now looking at him selling his platform for a crazy amount of money, right? But yeah, just to wrap this one up, there are two big lessons that I take from this post from Cobie. The first one is the quote that CT doesn't want to hear about getting rich in a decade. I do believe that the industry has completely changed now, and it's about time that investors start to take the market more seriously. They treat it like the stock market, for example, and they stop thinking about short-term gains. And I'm talking about short-term gains on meme coins, on speculative plays that can very easily rug pull and go to zero. And the second point is more about the balanced lifestyle. We're talking about enjoying life and just not going to zero. Survival is so important, especially this year when the market has been brutal from time to time. And although you may feel like you're doing the right thing by locking in and not going to sleep, you are ultimately, in the long term, whether it happens immediately or later, going to make some terrible decisions. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy this video. I enjoyed putting it together. It might not be the most glamorous video, but I do think there's going to be some people who really learn and enjoy it for other reasons. So if you did, do let me know down below in the comments. Are you looking to be a more serious investor now? Has your mindset changed? Let me know down below. And in the meantime, please do trade safe, please do invest safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.